Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
We were hard to break down, was difficult to play against. Our shape and discipline was outstanding. The work ethic, the desire that we have to have as a football club was there against the top sides. I thought the fans were brilliantly supported us and made some real noise. And then we just need a moment, don't we? You know, and Jake Cooper's produced that moment so many times for the club, but also for me. And a brilliant header.
100%. I've said it from the get-go, and from any interview I've done, I think it's just taking it game by game. And I think our defence and the way we defend, not just as the defenders, as a group, it gives us the foundations to be able to, get the 1-0 results and hopefully even more, get 2-0, 3-0. But if it's 1-0, we'll take it. It's 3 points on the board. And like you said, it's a good way to keep momentum going into, after the international break and the next game, and then keep going from there.
Well, hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Achtung Millwall. My name is Nick Hart. You're listening to the #1 Millwall podcast. And those two voices were, of course, those of Neil Harris and Jeff at Tanganga, both speaking in the wake of yesterday's truly magnificent 1-0 win over originally second-place Burnley, coming into this weekend, a team with an unbeaten run of 9 matches until they came to the Den yesterday. A 52nd minute headed goal, of course, from Jake Cooper, settling the issue after a fine cross from a much improved Femi Aziz. As I've said already, a wonderful, wonderful performance by the Lions. Your Millwall lineup yesterday, just to run through the details ahead of today's voicemail show, dear listeners. It was Neil Harris classic 11, wasn't it? Lucas Jensen in goal, backline Ryan Leonard, Jake Cooper, Jeff Tanganga, and Joe Bryan in front of them. George Saville, I thought, was magnificent yesterday. I mean, the entire defensive unit, as Jeff just said there, has really worked together here. George Saville, for me, my man of the match. Others will disagree with that. Casper De Noor, another magnificent showing yesterday. George Honeyman, huge performance. Romain Esse slightly marked out of the game a little bit, but he did his defensive work, that's for sure. Femi Aziz, one of the most improved players that I think we've seen in a long while. He's really coming into his own at the Den after a very hesitant start, but he's certainly showing his talent now. And up front, Macaulay Langstaff. As I've said already, huge win. It does take us to 7th in the table, which is quite an achievement given where matters were until, quite recently, going into that Cardiff away game, which we lost 1-0. Very disappointing performance, but all of that is behind us. I personally make it the best showing by a Mill side since the defeat of Leicester City at the tail end of last season. It was a classic Neil Harris performance, and you could take a pick from the whole 11 really, apart from perhaps Lucas in goal and Romain, who I thought will need to, work out ways in which he can impose himself on games where he's being 2 and 3 manned up, which is what Burnley did to him yesterday. But anyway, that's for the future. A massive win. One that takes us on to another massive game. They're coming thick and fast at the moment, dear listeners, which is the Wednesday night fixture versus Leeds. Another huge setup. And then an away trip to Stoke. It's offering a real opportunity from largely out of nowhere. I know we've said a few times that we've been playing well, but letting points get away from us, well, that seems to have been put a stop to now. If we can get points from this week, from the game on Wednesday, and then the trip to the Bet365, is it called, the Stoke City Stadium, on Saturday, then we're going to go into yet another international break, looking at November and December as a pretty, a pivotal time in the season. If we can keep our current form going, our sense of being a very difficult team to beat, we'll be going into the January transfer window with every expectation that we can make a push for the playoffs. How about that, dear listeners? Is that too ambitious a talk for you? I don't think it is. On the back end of that win yesterday, which, as we've said a few times now on this show and on the other shows that we've done over the weekend, was magnificent. So fingers crossed, it's an exciting time to be going to Millwall. Football, eh? Who expected it? There we are. Anyway, dear listeners, this is the Voice Note Show. We've got quite a lot of content for you on this edition, so I'm not going to do my usual interjections between the messages. I'm just going to run them in sequence as we've received them. So opening us up now is John Rankin, followed by Lawrence Binney, and then Chicago Joe. So take it away, John.
Hi, Nick. John Rankin here, just calling in after that brilliant win at home, 1-0 against Burnley. And what a great night to be a Millwall supporter. Fantastic under the lights, beating one of the sides in the top six. Absolutely brilliant. Good it was Scott Parker as well. He's come back to his old manner and he's been sent away with his tail between his legs. So there you are. Can't really fault anything that Millwall did, to be honest with you. I'll start with a goal. Beautiful header by Jake Cooper in the cold blow lane end. It was right where we were sitting. And we saw it arc up and just loop in under the bar. I mean, the margin there was like inches, you know. If it had gone inches higher, it would have hit the bar. Inches lower, the goalkeeper had it covered. There was the goalkeeper, who's a very good goalie, outstretched hands, and it just popped in. Absolutely brilliant. So, I mean, good performances from Aziz. I think that was his best performance in a Millwall shirt. Langstaff full of running. The midfield really had their job cut out, and I thought they did well. I mean, those Burnley midfielders were very, very good indeed. You know, they could make space, run into space, knew how to manipulate the ball around and play out of trouble, and I thought Burnley looked very impressive. When the game started, I think it was the first few minutes, Burnley came down their right-hand side, our left, and hit the post. And I thought, oh, this doesn't look good. I said to my boy, I think we're going to lose here. They just were commanding the ball, moving it around, moving us around, and I thought it was only a matter of time. But, you know, we clawed our way back into the game, and Roman Esse, I think, was instrumental because of the amount of work he does. He did lose the ball a few times, but that's not a problem. If you lose the ball in the opponent's half of the pitch, you know, that's what you're supposed to do as an attacker. You're taking risks. So I don't think we should criticise him for losing the ball. He's taking men on and it's not coming off. And I want to see that happen. You've got to take risks when you're an attacker. But where he's good is his chasing down and his tackling back. He's really brought that into his part of the game. I thought Sav and Denor worked very hard. I think they're working slightly better. George Honeyman covered a lot of ground, and they kept the Burnley midfield partnerships from really, you know, dominating and walking straight through the middle, which I thought they were going to do. So Burnley huffed and puffed, but to be honest with you, you know, they were never ever going to really, I think, threaten our goal. It all looked a bit dodgy at times. You know, they were going down the flanks and crossing the ball in, but I don't think Jensen had a save to make in the whole game. I can't remember him having to make a save, which is a good thing. I thought Tanganga played well, Ryan Leonard played well. I think everyone put a shift in and they all played well. And that's what you get. Crowd were enormous. Remembrance Day Sunday. What a way to go. It's my mum's birthday. She passed away 3 years ago, so quite happy regards, Mum, up there. And come on, you Lions.
Hey Nick, Lawrence Binney here, calling in after Millwall 1, Burnley 0. I'm sending this a day late, so I hope you can fit me in, but no worries if not. What a brilliant result that was. I think like many other Millwall fans, looking at the fixtures coming up, you couldn't help but feel like we could be in a very perilous position if things didn't go our way, what with the table being as tight as it is. But we've made a great start on a great run now. I think it's like 3 wins in a row, unbeaten in 7, so I'll definitely take that. In terms of the game, it felt like a very sort of Millwall performance and a very Neil Harris Millwall performance, where the off-the-ball work is just as important, if not more so, than the on-the-ball work. I actually thought we looked a bit sluggish in that first half. It was a little bit bemused because we've had 8 days off, but it looked like we had a hectic schedule playing in midweek. But I think as the game went on, you could kind of see what the plan was, which was to just sort of contain Burnley, frustrate them. They don't score many goals either. And then really kind of hit them in the second half. And boy, did we, in that kind of opening 20-minute salvo in the second period. I thought we were excellent. Played with such intensity. Really reminded me of that first season back in the Championship with Neil, where we just kind of went at teams sort of relentlessly. And I think he's showing sort of different sides to his management over the past 9 months now. We just there's all that solidity there that you sort of associate with this football club. But there's also this creative spark. I think he has the players now to kind of push us a bit more forward than he did in his last spell. Combinations are working really well still. Honeyman, SA, Watmore. And the new guy, Aziz, come under a bit of scrutiny, I think, in the past couple of months, but he's settling in now, and he has an end product. He's not a particularly flashy player, but he's got a real delivery on him. So it was lovely to see us score a goal from a cross, because I don't feel like we've seen that too many times this season. Man of the match. I can't believe Jake Cooper got it. I mean, I thought the defence was outstanding generally, and we have definitely, I think, the best defender in the league in Tanganga. But Casper De North should have got it. I mean, he was sensational today. That was like a prime Jimmy Abdu performance, with just a little bit of quality in that pass as well, something that Jimmy lacks sometimes. Fantastic. SA a little bit off it. I'd say so. But I think he's deserved. I think he's deserved an off day, or he's we can forgive him an off day rather, because he's been so crucial for us. But even saying that, he didn't have his most effective game, but he was flying to tackles, really trying hard, and that's great to see. So I feel like, I wouldn't get carried away yet. I think it's a tough run, and I think maybe at the end of the next 3 games we could sort of find ourselves back in a sort of mid-table boringness again. But there's something here. There's something here. I think Chat with Chaps kind of made Chappers on Chat with Chaps made a comment about the strength of depth on the bench, and I think that's very true in an attacking sense. It's something that we've really lacked for a long time. Still like us to make a couple of additions in midfield and defence, because I kind of feel like, there aren't really obvious replacements for Saville and Denore with Mitchell out, and God forbid that Tanganga gets injured, because Hutch at the back does not fill me with confidence. Brilliant servant for the club, but he's past his best now. There's something here, and I think top half is a realistic goal. All right, cheers, Nick. Thanks. Bye.
Hello, Joe from Chicago. Here at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, is getting ready for an NWSL game I got to cover. Well, what a win over Burnley. A win over Burnley at home. That Scott Parker dude really, I don't know why people think he's a good coach. Has he ever made a team better? I don't think so. I think they kind of all just kind of performed the way they're supposed to. Anyways, what a 3 points. We'll take that any day. Cooper, great job with that header. Femi Aziz might finally be that winger we've needed since Jed left, which would really be amazing. Post-match, Neil Harris tells reporters he had a gut feeling that they were going to win at halftime. Loved that. Glad he felt that way. I didn't feel that way. That was some LeBron James level lying. We get that in the U.S. That's just nonsense, but we'll take 3 points. That's going to be a massive 3 points down the line. I mean, 3 points against Burnley at home. We'll take it. Leeds, it'll be what it'll be, but 4 out of 5 with a clean sheet. The one that wasn't a clean sheet was a draw. Come on, you Lions. This is awesome. Oh, and that was on international television, so it made it even better. We never win on international television. We won today. Come on, you Lions. Thanks. Have a good one.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back, dear listeners. Big thank you, John, Lawrence and Joe. Next up in this packed edition of Achtung Mill, we've got Matt Richards, Tony Kelly, Matt Webb, and then Michael Avery. Take it away, Matt.
Nick, Matt Richards here. Just give me my thoughts about last night's game. Well, that was a superb performance, and what a great win. Brilliant. I mean, reflecting on it, you just kind of think under Harris, and Harris, comes in for a lot of criticism. I think it's unfair, but for all people's concerns about when he came back to us, he's tactically naive and stuff like that. I mean, how can you say that? When you see the tactics he put into play yesterday and the way the team implemented him against, they're not the Burnley of a couple of years ago under Company, but they're still a really good side with some really dangerous players. But he got it spot on, and the team got it spot on as well. And I know you can compare him to Rowett. I actually wasn't a big critic of Rowett. I thought he did a brilliant job, but a Gary Rowett side, I don't think would have won that last night. That's the Harris difference. That's the difference he makes to the team, the club, everything really. So hats off to Super Neil Harris. And it was, from the start of the game, the first 20 minutes, let's face it, they were on top, and you felt a bit concerned, particularly their pace. The number 30 and 37 up front looked pretty dangerous, but after that we soaked it up, and we're unlucky not to go in 1-0 at half time, and second half we carried it on really. It wasn't loads of chances at either end, but we did look the more dangerous, and this is it. This is what we're doing. We're soaking up pressure by being organised, but now we've got SA, we've got Aziz who played really well again, looking dangerous. And we've got players up front now. We've got, obviously Coburn came back yesterday, Ivanovic on the bench. Langstaff did well again. But then you got, I think it's so important to us, Honeyman. There's a kind of pivot with those players that if we can keep it compact and tight, then we've got players that can break and on the counter attack. And it worked yesterday. So it was great, superb. What a great night at the Den under the floodlights, in front of the TU cameras. Just brilliant stuff. Going through the team, I think Jensen didn't do anything, so you can't criticise him. But another clean sheet. The defence was brilliant. I would say I thought Tanganga was my man of the match. I just think he's made such a huge difference over the last 10 games, but equally to last night, his pace, his presence, he reads the game so well, and Cooper plays so well, alongside him. But Brian did really well, despite getting an early yellow card, and obviously Ryan Leonard was Ryan Leonard. Don't need to say any more. Midfield was brilliant. I mean, I don't think Sav is. I don't want to be critical. I don't think he's the player he was. He does give the ball away, but you can't. He's the heartbeat of our side, isn't he? He's there. He's fighting in the trenches. And Casper again was brilliant. Really composed on the ball, just playing it neat and tidy. Both of them amazing interceptions, and Romain doing what Romain does. We have to be patient with him. He's going to give the ball away, but he just glides. He just glides across that pitch, and it's just a danger to them. And this is it. You put panic in the defence that not going to like it. Trickery and pace. And Femi Aziz getting better every game. Really, from a few games ago, he's getting a bit of stick, but it shows he's got a strong mentality. For a young boy, to come back from that and put in a performance as he's done. Well, yesterday, and obviously getting the assist against Swansea. And on that front, we're looking good, really. We've got Langstaff doing well. He's unlucky with that header, brilliant header in the first half. Then it was like Coburn came back with an injury. That I think is going to be a massive lift to us. I think that's one of the highlights of yesterday for me, really, because I think we're really going to need him on Wednesday against Leeds. But and Ivanovic didn't even have to come on, did he? So brilliant stuff. As I say, go forward to Wednesday, another massive game. but we're up to 7th. You know, I mean, you know, let's give it a really good go against Leeds. Why not? You know, we're going to have the crowd, massive crowd behind us, and you know, who knows what can happen really. I think we'll play the same sort of mentality, same sort of structure, and let's nick some points. Let's beat them. Brilliant stuff. Cheers, Nick. Speak to you soon. Come on your lines.
Morning, Nick. Tony here as I travel into work in my black cab. The morning after the night before, it's been a while since I've been on here, so I might be a bit edgy, but here we go. But yeah, great night of football last night. Predicted us to win. We got the 1-0 win. Overall, I feel like not really much you can be negative about after last night. I felt like everyone put a shift in last night. The back four, the goalkeeper, 2 in the middle. Just an all-round good performance, you know. Like Burnley, it was always going to be a hard ask for them coming down on a Sunday. You know, we're under the lights. The only downside from last night, in my opinion, was the crowd weren't great, which would have been nice if there was a few more in the house. But it's still, I think with the referee's first half performance, you got the crowd going, you know, livened it up a little bit in there. First half was a bit nullified, nothing really to go off. You know, referee, you know, constantly, you know, whistling his mouth, kind of lost the game a little bit in the first half. I said to my boy last night, I said he's not going to give us nothing in the second half because we kind of give him a bit of dog's abuse, the whole lot of them, you know. But to be fair, you know, as I said, you know, Jensen in goal done what he had to do. Cooper and Tanganga, brilliant. Brian, probably one of the better games for me I've seen last night. I'm a bit on the fence with him. Lenny's Lenny, you know, good performance like always. For me, even though Cooper got man of the match, I think Denor probably got the man of the match for me. He was brilliant last night. And he was just immense, you know. So overall, good performance. We've got a few injury boys coming back now, you know. Roll on Leeds Wednesday night. I feel like we just need to start getting the crowds up, I think. We're a little bit hit and miss on the crowds. I'm not sure why the crowds are so low, but I feel like, you know, if we get a few more bums in the seat in there, you know, get behind the boys, I think we'll have a good push this season. I can't see why not. But overall, you know, Harris is at the wheel. Missed the Neil Harris, missed the Millwall. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can anyone not be happy with him? I do not know. Do you know what I mean? He's just brought the club back together. We all look like a team on the pitch, you know, and long may it continue. I think we're going to have a late push this season. I think he's got everyone playing together, and I feel like, you know, we could be there or thereabouts this season. You know what I mean? We could be dark horses. You know, let's not get in front of ourselves. But you know what? When you look at the team, you know, the team overall, you know, they're all firing. You know, so long may it continue. Thanks again, Nick. It's been a little while since I've been on, and come on, you Lions.
Nick, Matt Webb here. It's been a while since I left a post-match voice note. Due to ill health, obviously, I haven't been able to get to a game since actually the first game in September at Sheffield Wednesday. But, you know, on the mend, on the up. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to the game yesterday because of the joys of having a 1 p.m. Sunday League kickoff for my son. So the times are against us. But we managed to watch it on TV. And I thought, well, I think I could put my 2 penneth worth over on the show. So what can we say? Well, it's the classic Millwall big game, big team mentality. A team like Burnley, ex-Prem team, bags of talent. As much as we don't like Scotty Parker for his history, he's a good manager. Come to the Den, and we were the better team. We always have this sort of big team mentality whenever they come to us, you know. And do you know what? It weren't a case of backs against the wall, hit him on the counter. I thought we actually deserved that result today, and I think you as much as Harris has his downfalls, as well as his positives, he got that right yesterday. I take my hat off to him. Think, yeah, that was probably one of the best performances I've seen Millwall play in a long while. I mean, as I said, I've not seen them in the flesh for a while, but obviously I've managed to get them on streams and TV channels. Thanks, Sky, on that part. But yeah, I think it was definitely one of the best performances so far of the season. The defence was solid. Still got reservations on Joe Bryan defensively. I thought where we got the likes of Burnley, Leeds, and Sunderland next 4 games out of 3. Our next 4 games, well, I would have thought he would have gone with a Danny McNamara. As we say, he's more suited for an away performance. We probably were going to play like we were going to be the away team. I felt yesterday, but actually we weren't. But the defence were really solid. Nice cleano for Jensen again, which was really good. Really pleased with that. But yeah, no, the midfield, I thought Casper and Saville were instrumental in midfield. I think Casper, I absolutely was gobsmacked when he dropped him for Swansea. But he was again instrumental in that middle of the park, along with Georgie Saville. I mean, Georgie Saville could easily just sit there, hold it, break the play up, and allow Casper to be a bit more, have more freedom. And then you got the 3 behind with SA, Aziz, and Honeyman. Now, again, Aziz he's coming on. He's coming on. I think we're starting to see what Millwall saw in terms of why we paid. I think it was roughly about £1 million for him. I think we're starting to see it now. It does take time for a player to settle into a new club, and we try not to get on the lad's back as quite quickly. But no, I think we're starting to see the true potential in that lad. I think SA was a big test for him yesterday. In glimpses, he had positive moments. Not the best of games he's played, but it certainly wasn't the worst. But I think what you got to realise is that clubs now are going to suss him out. And if you go on social media, you can see the hype around him through your Sky Sports Twitter feeds and goodness knows other channels. They're basically promoting him to be either doubled up or to be sold in the January window. I think that's what the thing is. So people are going to understand who the kid is and double up on him. Even the good teams like your Burnleys are going to double up on him. So that's a learning curve for SA, in my opinion. To now say, right, well, now I've established myself in the first team. I'm one of the hot prospects of the club, but he's now got to understand that he's a target for opposition to be doubled up, even trebled up, depending on the caliber of the opposition. So, he'll learn. As I said, it wasn't the worst game he's played, but it wasn't his best. So it was an average performance. Honeyman, again, on commentary, they said that he was thriving in the position of the number 10 that was occupied by Zian Fleming. As much as I can't understand where they're coming from, I can't see him occupying that 10. Personally, he's a good player, and like I say, I think he's worthy of a first team spot. As at 10, he's got to contribute more of the goals, if that's the case. But he's a very workhorse performer. I can see why people like him. I think, in my opinion, he's the next replacement for the likes whenever Saville says, I'm ending my contract, or if Casper Denor moves on, players like Denor and SA and even Fleming to extent come to Millwall as a sort of stepping stone to go into sort of bigger, better things. Ideally, it'd be good if it was with Millwall, but you just never know. And then up front, Langstaff, poor sod, his games, for well you're going to play one up top. He's just going to run and run and run and run. And do you know what? He was unlucky with the header in the first half. It was actually a really good save by Trafford. But do you know what? He had a solid game, and then obviously run his socks off. So all in all, it was a good performance a very good performance from my point, and take my hat off to Harris and the management on that one. I think we're all all happy with that result at the moment. But I think the big one now is how we back it up. We have to back it up now against Leeds. We have to go in there with that big game mentality. And he said, now this is a challenge for Neil, is to really, what does he do? Those players put it all out on the field yesterday, and they've got to recover. Will he change the team? Will he mix it up? Personally, I'll do probably a couple of changes. Maybe up front, give Langstaff a rest, put Coburn or Ivanovic. Maybe give Watmore a run out and give SA a breather, personally. But, it's down to Neil now. I mean, obviously, we know that McNamara is going to come in for Brian, because Brian, not only is he concussed, but he's suspended. So that's one change definite. So, that's the big challenge. We've got to back it up against Leeds. And in instantly, we've got to back it up against Stoke next Saturday as well. So, that's the mentality of the club now. We need to go for it. Anyway, look, I've rambled on too much. I've just realised, good day at the office yesterday. Can't wait for Wednesday personally to get back down the Den. So hopefully I'll see you and say hello in person, mate. All right, come on, you lines.
Michael Avery leaving the Den after a very convincing 1-0 win for Millwall tonight. Firstly, Sunday 3 o'clock. So whoever come up with that time slot needs their head looked at, because flipping hell, not good. Secondly, those LED lights that people are commenting on, I'll tell you what, they are bright though, aren't they? All jokes aside, can't wait for the light show Wednesday, he says in jest. Thirdly, or C, can't remember what one I'm up to, but very good win for Millwall against the Burnley side, who, they're up there near the top of the table, drawn a lot of games. So that probably is slightly misleading how high up they are. But a team who a lot of people fancy to win promotion. Obviously, the whole Zion Fleming thing, he's joined that team from us to try and obviously secure that promotion push, a la Jed Wallace leaving us to go to West Brom. And once again, similar to the Jed Wallace at West Brom and Millwall a couple of years ago to Gary Rowett, we find ourselves in and around the mix as well. The reason I'm saying in and around the mix as well is because Kenny Jackett famously said, didn't he, it's 10, 12 games in, you don't look at the table. Well, we're now at 13 games and we're up in 7th place, I think, and with a healthy points tally. So have Millwall turned the corner, where some of the performances that Neil Harris has been talking about, getting the results that he wants, possibly. I mean, at the moment, he's getting them in the short term, but obviously he needs to look long term. But again, very convincing win for Millwall today. Another clean sheet. I thought the defence were absolutely solid and limited Burnley to absolutely nothing, practically. Can't even really think of Jensen having too much to do except dive for a ball that was going wide anyway, and he got tangled up in the goal net. Good battling win today for Millwall. Very happy with that. Now let's just hope the trains run all right. Come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back, dear listeners. If you want to contribute to Achtung Millwall, it'd be great to get a wide range of voice notes. I really enjoy these shows. It's always fantastic to hear from the listeners. Anything that occurs to you post-match, always welcome. I always try and include every piece of contribution that I get. If you want to contact me on Twitter, or X, I suppose it's called now, we are at Achtung Mill. You can direct message me on Twitter. You can send voice notes on that platform. Or if you send me your mobile number, I'll send you mine back and we can do WhatsApp. That's often simpler and gives you longer to play with, actually, if that's important. Do get in contact with us. It's great to get messages. I'd love to hear from you. But next up on this packed edition of Achtung Mill, it's Glyn Horner, Rob Woodford, Jamie Mack, Hassan Koulé, and we're going to finish off this little section with Harry Warren.
Hiya Nick, Glenn here. So following yesterday's game, what a great result, what a really good performance. It was really pleasing to see how that defence has now sort of found a way of working together. I think they all four of them really did a great job, and Brian, although he had his work cut out for him with that winger, their right winger, he actually eventually started to sort of take a grip on the guy towards the end. So I'm really, really happy with that. Femi Aziz continues his development, continues to look more and more like a good player. I think the headache for Harris now will be that Watmore's back. So does he drop Aziz and bring Watmore back into the team? He's certainly scored a lot of goals, but Aziz is starting to look more and more like a player, and the more games he's getting. So it would be very unfair to drop him right now. And I think he's probably a bit of a better winger or a wide player than Watmore is, to be honest. But, you know, Watmore has scored a lot of goals, so it would be hard to also not put him back in the team now he's back again. Maybe use him as an impact player and start with Aziz is the answer. I think the final point, this isn't so much related to the game. I mean, I think there's many things went well in the game, so I'm not going to dwell on that. That was excellent work. But I think the question we've got to ask ourselves now is about what is the value of Romain Esse? Clearly, highly talented player. Very, very much will be, moving on from Millwall at some point. I've heard sort of figures being sort of thrown around that he's worth, sort of upwards of 15 million. We do still need to remember he's a 19-year-old kid who's played half a season in the Championship. And yes, he's looked good, but, if you think about, players like Jude Bellingham, they went for multi-millions. I don't think Esse is there yet. And if we did sell him, hopefully it's to a club that's in the Prem already. And hopefully it's for nothing less than 12 million. I think that's 12 to 15 million, I think, is a fair price for a player of his talent and experience. Anyway, that's a really great result for us, and I think it's Leeds next, isn't it? So that's always a good one. I live up in Yorkshire, so I've got a lot of mates who support Leeds, and it'd be lovely to have something to say to them. All right, all the best. Come on, you Lions.
Hi, Nick. Some reflections from Block 4, mate, where we have solid season ticket holders here. There's no bird shit and no Groupon schnorrers. So we get a good view of the game, and I'll tell you what, that was a magnificent 3 points with a goal good enough to win any game of football yesterday. And make no mistake, our work ethics were off the scale and everyone was blowing out their arse by the full-time whistle. And that's a reflection of how we set up, the way that the manager has got us now disciplined, well organised. Other teams in this league have better quality players, but our quality surely is with our team spirit. Everyone backed each other up and everyone was winning tackles. Aziz is now playing with real confidence and showing his crossing ability. But the games are coming thick and fast, so the gaffer will rotate the squad. Remember how we kept a winning side versus Cardiff and come unstuck. So I don't think that'll happen again in the next couple of games. The injured linesman and his replacement offered good comedy, didn't it? And some of us thought that, when he first collapsed, he had a touch of the earthy kits. So not sure what went on there, to be honest. And a big shout out for Coops, who on his way to make his interview with Sky TV, he made sure that his hair was in good order. That's class, mate. Absolutely brilliant. And what can you say about Scott Parker? Trying to blame the result on the injured linesman. That's a bit pathetic, Scott. And by the way, you want to sort that Barnett out, mate. You used to look like a Thunderbird puppet, but now you're just like Oscar Wilde, for fuck's sake. Nick, you're a smooth operator. Keep them coming, mate.
Hello, Nick. Just a brief one for myself. Jamie here at the Gippsland Lakes on our long weekend. After watching Millwall 1, Burnley 0. And to be honest with you, if that is a top 2 side, then the division isn't that strong. They couldn't get through the middle of us. They tried to go around the flanks. That was their game plan. And Scott Parker looked at the side, bedazzled, not knowing what to do. Harris had got the game plan down to pat. We had some fantastic interplay in the middle between Hunneman, Denoy, and also Saville. And Eze looked like he's really growing into the role. Langstaff also looked good. I think once we get another centre forward alongside him, and when Coburn come on, they really did panic. I think it was a really, really good team performance. It was actually quite good that Brian got injured, because when Danny Mack come on, he really shored up that side of the pitch. It's an intriguing time to be a Millwall fan. Are you hopeful? Are you not hopeful? If you can keep those performances rolling on week in, week out, there's no reason why we can't make the top 6. It was even the goal from Cooper was absolutely majestic, and the fact I don't even have to mention Tanganga that much. Shows what little pressure we were on from such a big side, who are obviously missing Zian Fleming. Anyway, really excited about this. Really looking forward to Leeds in the morning, and I will be up at 6:45 to watch that as well.
Hello Nick, Hassan here. I think we need to start singing 1-0 to the mighty Millwall. Another win, another 1-0. Take that all day long. But do you know what? Results like this, like against Swansea last week, today against Burnley, it just shows this obsession with possession-based football. It's meaningless unless the ball goes in the back of the net. I think we all know that, and we proved it again today. You know, we let Burnley have a lot of the ball. They didn't really create a lot. It was one of those, I couldn't make the game. I was watching it from home, I've got to be honest, and it was one of those games where I wasn't on the edge of my seat worrying that Burnley were going to score, even at 0-0 or once we went 1-0 up. Every time they got the ball near the area, it just came to nothing. I mean, their fullback with the dreads, he looked like a dangerous player, but when it came to that last ball, it was either too short or too long, or do you know what? The midfield and the defence, they threw their body on the line. They cut out a lot of their through balls. Tanganga, Dinor, Saville, even on the ball, Saville wasn't the best, but off the ball, cutting them out, breaking the play down. Yeah, I'll give him his due. He done well. They broke a lot of play up. Honeymoon again, running around everywhere. Everyone put a shift in. It looks like Femi Aziz has now joined the party. He got Sky Sports named him man of the match, which he done well. You know, he done well. It's a notch from his last performance at the Den against Plymouth. He won man of the match, and you know what? You know, I think let's give it to him. It would do his confidence some good. It was a good cross, and he looked dangerous. You know, today was the first time you was happy for him to get on the ball and make something happen. And to be honest with you, Eze, that wasn't really his best game. You know, he had a few flicks and tricks here and there, but he didn't really impose himself. But that's because his standard is so high. I think even he knows that he could have done better today. But I'm not going to knock him. You know, he's been our best player this season. But again, you know, I think I said it before, Bomber, he's got them boys working so hard. They know that we're not going to have ball for a long time, but when we do get the ball, we hit hard, we hit fast, and we do play good football at times. You know, I think even on commentary, I think it's Chris Alumaruno, I think that's how you say his name, the ex-Burnley striker and Scotland striker, even he was saying, you know, Millwall teams of old, the stereotype, set pieces, long balls, crosses, and not even he said it, not now. These lot will cut you open. They're looking to play the ball through the channel, and at times we did that today. And it was funny because the winning goal by Juicy Jake was from an old school cross and a header, and it should have had a penalty. He got thrown to the ground several times. It was an absolute joke. We got away with one. Saville was pulling a shirt off a Burnley player, so I'm supposed it evens itself out. I think Scott Parker alluded to it in his post-match interview, but again, it evened itself out. They should have had a penalty. We should have had a penalty, maybe even two. But going forward, you know what? This team, they have no one to fear in this league. Doesn't matter who's. We've got Leeds to come on Wednesday. We know it's going to be a fired atmosphere, especially with the supposed pre-game light show, which I know is going to get booed out the stadium. Which, you know, what sort of woke bollocks is that? We don't need that in our club. But at the end of the day, if they got a bit of discount from putting the fucking lights up, then we have to accept it and take it on the chin. Apparently it's only 3 times a season, but the first one against Leeds, I'm not having it. Do it in a fucking Carabao Cup game when there's no one there, not fucking Leeds. But anyway, it doesn't matter. As I said, like, we shouldn't fit anyone in this league. Leeds, Sunderland, you know, as one of our mottos is, let them come. Just let them come down to the Den, we'll fucking do them. You know, this team should be full of confidence, and the strength and depth is there a little bit as well. I mean, Coburn on the bench, Ivanovic on the bench, Watmore on the bench. We're starting to get players back now bit by bit. I've got to be honest with you, like Tom Bradshaw, there's pictures of him training in the week. I don't see where he fits in this side at the moment. For me, it's 3 strikers in front of him. 3 in front of him. And, you know, again, he's definitely going to be back on the bench once he gets fit. Is another sign of strength in depth. So, another solid performance, and let's hope the boys rest up, and we'll go again against dirty Leeds. Hope you're well, Nick, and till next time. Tell me.
Well, good morning, dear listeners. Harry Warren calling in after last night's fantastic, very, 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 very welcome and very, very thought-provoking 1-0 win against Burnley. And I say thought-provoking because they're fifth. They're supposed to be a top three side looking at automatic promotion, and we made them look very, very ordinary. And I think back to the other games. We're seventh. There's 6 teams in front of us. The 3 that I can remember playing, we played against West Brom and got a draw away from home. And we lost against Watford in the last minute in a game that I think we should have won early on in the season. So my question really is are we good? Which is an odd Millwall question, because I know we've had a bit of a run of form in the sense that we're unbeaten in 4 or 5 games and we've won 3 on the bounce, and suddenly that projects you up the table. But that is the Championship in a nutshell. But we're never normally where we are now, this early. We're never really in the mix. Admittedly, we're 2 points off and we have Leeds on Wednesday, but this is, I don't know what more you want. I still see the same comments that we all see online. I would say that I think, it's 3 1-0 wins or 4 1-0 wins on the bounce, but I don't think they've been boring 1-0 wins. I think we've been due to score more than what we have been. Coburn coming back in is a good sign. We've got more striking options, I think, now than we've had in a number of seasons. I think Coburn and Ivanovic obviously are sort of the big men, and that's kind of saying they're limited to that. I don't think they are. I don't think they're a sort of Matt Smith, God bless him, kind of target man who can't move. I think these two can move. And then you've got sort of Langstaff and Bradshaw as the sort of workers and the link men. Whether or not they score enough goals, all 4 of them together, time will tell. But we don't even normally have that many options from the bench. We've got Aziz has come into a bit of run of form. I hope he continues. And the defence looks solid. Now, this is all good signs. These are all good things. And their optimism. We don't like to tempt Lady Fate, as Nick would probably say, but we're doing really well. I don't think if you had said this maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, people would have said you're mental, and that shows kind of the fickle nature of social media / modern football fandom, to use a horrible phrase. But let's have it right. Millwall 7th in the Championship. We have no divine right to be there. We have been here before. Never this early, I don't think. I can't remember being here this early under Rowett. I might have glossed over it. But I don't know. I think maybe we're a bit. What's the right word? I think maybe we're a bit. We don't want to come here too soon. It's still a fucking hell of a long way to go. And still a very, 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 very long shot of Millwall getting playoffs or anything. But we're playing like a side that deserves to be there at the end of the season, and are showing signs of why that will happen. Barring any injuries to key players like Tanganga or maybe one of the 2 centre midfielders of Denor or Saville or SA. These are players that I don't think we can replace, but we'll see how we go. I think there are green shoots of growth. I think that Neil Harris himself is a change manager, a more attacking manager. I think a more savvy manager, maybe. I know that's going to get fucking. I can hear the keyboards tapping to respond to my comment. in that one. But I generally believe that we are, I don't know, starting to show, I don't know, but really, we're starting to show how good we are. And I looked at a stat earlier, since Neil Harris has taken Millwall back over in February, on form and points per game and all that kind of stuff, we're a top 6 side. Now, those kind of stats, okay, they're extrapolated over to, well, the start of this season and the back end of last season. But where we are in the table now, we haven't been there since, what, Gary Rowett last day of the season, the capitulation against Blackburn. So, all in all, lots of reasons to be positive. We don't do positivity down the den that much. But, yeah, what a fucking great weekend. West Ham get thumped. The Detroit Lions, for anyone that cares about football, are having a Millwall-like resurgence. And Millwall win. So, yeah, come on, you Lions. On to Leeds on Wednesday. And the fucking prospective light show that I may say will probably be booed. Booed terribly, booed loudly, for everyone to hear, and will never be seen again. Anyway, come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
Huge thanks, Glenn, Rob, Jamie, Hassan and H. We're going to close out the show now, dear listeners. It's been a packed edition on a very, very giddy, Sunday afternoon game, so it's been a giddy Monday for me. I dare say you too, dear listeners. But we're going to close out the show now with the inimitable sound of Bobby T. And then finally, regular correspondent I always look forward to hearing from was Jim Hackett. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's contributed to this show. Apologies for not doing my usual reaction pieces. It's just so much content. I wanted to get it into one show, and it would have just made it into a volume of the Venerable Bede's ecclesiastical history of the English-speaking peoples if I'd have done that. So I've just run them back to back. Do let me know what you think of the show, dear listeners. Always good to hear from you. But until the next edition of Achtung Millwall, which will follow the Leeds game midweek, so it's coming fast and furious from me, Nick Hart. It's Arrivederci Millwall, and bye for now. Till the next edition, it's Bobby T, then Jim Hackett.
Good morning, Nick Hart, Bobby T. Monday morning, on top of the world. And I'm going to give you my ratings now from 1 to 11, even the subs. Well, let's start with Jensen. Didn't put a foot wrong, coming of his own, clean sheets, getting confident. I like him. Of back four, Leonard Mustard, every game, solid as a fucking rock. Our 2 centre-backs, Tatanga gave the ball away, but again, gravy, absolutely Royal Royce of Tottenham, or well, Millwall now anyway, fuck Tottenham. Coops, what more can I say? Legends, I give him man of the match, but Aziz, anyway, I'll get onto him. Left back, Joe Bryan, suspect, getting old, but still got, still going strong, still got flair. But anyway, a warrior. But anyway, midfield now. Here we go, midfield now. Aziz, getting better. Keep on going. More running the team. Sav, engine. He's like Millwall's engine, Sav. Denore, Casper, a bit quiet, a bit slow sometimes, but still got the brain. Runs and picks up the pieces. Let's go back on who's on it. Aziz, our star boy. Bit quiet last night. I'm not going to give him a 5 or a 4, but playing out left, I mean, honestly and truly, he's good in the middle, but quite quiet, a bit frustrated. Too much fix essay. He tried too much last night. Hanneman is basically like Sugar Puffs. Hanneman, he's like a monster. He runs everywhere. He's like a engine more than Savile, runs everywhere. Well played, Hanneman. I'll give him a credit. But again, let's go after Hanneman. Well, Langstaff for me runs his socks off, runs too much, just couldn't get in the game. But anyway, well done, Langstaff. The subs will come on. Coburn, quality. I want to see him in the Mahalo up front, and then Whitnell, whatever. He's a utility player. He's Harris's mate. He done all right. He's a squad player. Danny, come on. Danny Mack is Millwall, one of our own, mate. Fucking solid, mate. Trying to wrap up their number 30. He tried it. Who else was sub? Come on. Am I missing anyone now? Come on, Coburn we've mentioned, and that's it basically. Am I missing anyone who come on? I think that's it. So there's my analysis of the subs. Aris, you got it spot on. Millwall display. Now Leeds coming to town. The preview will be out. You do not need a fucking preview for Leeds, mate. You don't need it. Leeds United, scum of the year, Yorkshire fucking pudding. You're coming to Den on Wednesday night. And as I predicted, Millwall, the Lions, will tame them fucking Leeds Yorkshire. Come on, Millwall. There. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. There's my 1 to 10. If I miss anyone out, let me know. Bye for now. Millwall. Totally forgot the sub will come on. What more? It wasn't really that fit. Didn't train all week, Harris said. What more can I ask for? He done all right. He ran the channels. And that's it. Bye for now. See you Wednesday night. Come on, Millwall. The Leeds coming to the Den. You're not going to get nothing. The Lions will win again. Bye for now. Bobby here. I totally forgot about Sean Hutchinson, the warrior, the legend of Millwall. Come on, made a diving header on the last minute. He put his head where it hurt for Millwall's cause. Every single player done amazingly. Warriors last night. Leeds, we're coming for you, or you're coming to town. You're getting nothing. Bye for now.
Morning, Nick. Jim Hack here. Great Monday morning for everybody, I think. Well, everybody who supports Millwall anyway. I don't think the Burnley people will be over the moon this morning. But that yesterday was, I think everybody's going to say the same thing, a typical Millwall performance in terms of how we played, how we stifled the opposition and how we nicked our goal. But I think there's a little bit more to it than that. I thought our overall play was decent. I thought our players worked very hard and our midfield actually got on top of their midfield just by biting and snapping and everything. I think Honeyman comes into that because of the job he does. Going forward, we looked a little bit wishy-washy, I thought, in the first half, where the ball was going there and it just wasn't sticking and nothing was happening for us until the last few minutes when suddenly Langstaff had a chance out of nothing, really. And then Femi Aziz possibly could have done better, but again, it's a difficult skill, isn't it, for professional footballers to put the ball in the net on the volley. So overall, first half, I think everybody was quite happy because it could have been a lot worse. Second half, I think we dominated the game, really. But they just couldn't get at us enough, and they wanted to, but they just couldn't do what they wanted to do. So for me, we got our goal. We rode the rest of the game out without too many problems, and our team seemed to get stronger and stronger, which is great for yesterday. I'm just hoping that they haven't left their legs there ready for Wednesday, because Wednesday's going to be another one of them games where they've got a spark from the off, and hopefully the momentum will carry on forward. A couple of things I'd like to point out, well, probably three things really. The first one was our set piece delivery. I thought it was slightly different yesterday and slightly better, although I think you can see that Burnley hadn't really done a lot of work on playing against, taller players like Cooper. I think the fact that Roberts got away twice with pulling them all over the shop was more about the referee's lack of ability rather than the Burnley defence doing a good job. And every time the ball went in the air in their box, I thought we had a chance of picking up the first or second ball. So the set piece delivery was better, apart from obviously Saville's balloon at the end, where you'd have thought we'd have done better just to keep possession for the last few seconds rather than give them another opportunity to attack us. But that's by the by. Second one was Femi Aziz. I thought suddenly he looked bright, he looked confident, and obviously that I think the game against Swansea might just have helped him. But since he got roasted a few games ago, he's come back in and he looks a totally different player. So whoever's worked on his mental strength has done a fantastic job, because he was top draw yesterday. Everything we were hoping for. What we've got to hope now is that if he is going to play on the right and SA is going to be on the left, that SA actually can adapt to that position and use that quality that he's got to sort of make his stamp over there. If not, I think a good solution to the problem would be to interchange him. And, during the game when I grew up playing football in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you would see managers changing the wingers, which side they played on, during the game. And I think that's not a bad thing to bring back in for them too, because I think they've both got options, on both sides, and it might be they're changing up the game during the game. would help both of them anyway. But I think yesterday was his easiest day. In the past, it's been essays, so let's hope we can get them both firing at the same time on Wednesday anyway. So that was that one. And then the final point, and I watched it probably 6 or 7 times, but with regards to the goal, if you watch when the ball first goes in from, I think it's Leonard's throw, Cooper makes a challenge, falls to the floor, gets up, but as he gets up, he has a little look around and he pulls onto the far post, onto their shortest man, if you like. I think it was whoever the fullback was, Roberts. He's pulled onto him so that when Aziz actually gets the ball, ready to put another cross in, he actually looks up and he can see Cooper where he is, and he flicks a little ball up there. And Cooper has nobody close to him that's tall enough to stop him. So for me, that was very bright by Cooper, and it was great play by Aziz to put the ball in there. But at the outset, it was Cooper's movement from falling on the floor to getting away from the big centre halves to put himself in an area where he could pick the ball out against smaller men. So a fantastic header, a fantastic way to win the game. And I have to say, after sort of a few weeks ago where everybody's a bit doom and gloom, I think our last few games have really sparked us up. We've now got to hopefully keep it going on Wednesday. And again, you can't ask the players to give any more because they're giving everything they need to do. And yes, it was no difference. I think Joe Bryan probably on Wednesday, well, he wouldn't have been playing anyway because of his yellow card. But I do get the feeling that in those sort of games where it's a little bit pacier and a little bit more attack-minded from Leeds, I think Danny was always going to come in. So the fact that Danny's going to be in there doesn't weaken us at all. And if anything, it makes us stronger physically at the back. And the way we are at the moment, we look nice and strong. Let's hope they've got some legs on them ready for Wednesday. Leeds have had the extra day's rest, but then they've got to travel down. So let's wait till Wednesday. So come on, you Lions.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.